Welcome to part 2 of Let's Play Battleblade Warrior by Marc Gascoigne. At the end of the last part, I was about to read paragraph 181. Just before I do that though, I'd like to thank YouTube user Nate2003, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, because you informed me that I accidentally reduced my skill by 1 and not my luck, so I've changed that already, so thank you for informing me about that. Anyway, so let's read paragraph 181. You reach the boat with ease. Hastily throwing your equipment into a corner, you push the small craft out into the river. You're free of Vimorna. Add 2 luck points. Okay, let's do that. Puts our luck back up to 12. The Vimorn River is broad and slow-moving. Its name means dark waters, for it carries black silt washed down from the Lion Heights far to the east, which is where you are headed. Which course will you follow as you row upriver? Will you hug the north bank, turn to 314, the south bank, turn to 107, or travel midstream, turn to 12? Okay, we are going to hug the south bank. And turn to 107. You scull your small craft along the southern side of the river, just out of reach of the branches of the trees overhanging the bank. As you think about them, you realise that you are sailing along a northern edge of the infamous mangrove swamps of Silla Char, home to the lizard man invaders currently pulling down your beloved Vimorna stone by precious stone. The trees begin to look dark and forbidding, holding hidden dangers for you. Will you sail on your present course, turn to 359, or push out for midstream, turn to 12? Okay, we're going to sail on our present course and turn to 359. You hear the regular splash of many oars as a large lizard man galley sculls towards you in midstream. As it approaches your position, you duck under the overhanging trees lining the southern bank, and it sails past without anyone noticing you. You let a sigh of relief whistle out through your teeth. Then, out of the corner of your eye, you see the snake. It must have dropped from one of the trees, and now it's slowly slithering its way towards you across the bottom of the boat. You try to lift it out with the flat of your oar before it gets too close. Roll 1 die. If you roll 1 to 4, you remove it successfully. If you roll 5 to 6, it bites your hand. Deduct 1 stamina point before it is flipped out onto the bank. Then you paddle on. Turn to 376. Okay, so we need to roll 1 die. And we get a 6, so we've lost a stamina point. So let's do that now. So our stamina goes down to 21. Okay. Okay, now we're turning to 376. Giving thanks to Telak for ensuring your safety, though it was a very close shave, you paddle on upriver. The Vimorn sweeps north in a wide, slow-moving curve, and you have no trouble guiding your small craft along. The river curves again, heading east. You paddle along, keeping an eye on... I'll just start again, sorry. You paddle along, keeping an eye open both sides for any sign of trouble. After an hour or so, the river is joined by a tributary flowing from the south. The Lizard River flows from the depths of Silla Char. As you pass the place where it joins the Vimorn, you give thanks that you are not having to go up that waterway. It is at this moment that you notice 3 boats heading towards you from the southern shore. Turn to 238. Here we are. Each of the 3 boats, narrow, sleek, and low in the water, carries 2 swamp goblins. Small darts from their blowpipes start to fall in the water around you. You can take evasive action, turn to 40, shoot at them from a distance with your bow, if you have one, turn to 212, or sail right at them and prepare to attack. Turn to 109. Okay, we are going to take evasive action and turn to 40. Here we are. Roll 2 dice. If you roll equal to or below your skill score, turn to 339. If you roll above your skill score, turn to 109. Okay. Okay, our skill is currently 12. So let's roll 2 dice, and that's 11, so we were successful. So equal to or below your skill score, which we did, so that's 339. Okay, here we are. You managed to evade the boats, but they give chase. Roll 1 die. If you roll 1 to 3, you are hit by as many blowpipe darts. Deduct 1 stamina point for each before you leave the goblins behind. Turn to 241. Okay, so let's roll 1 die. And we roll a 2, so we're hit by 2 darts, and therefore we need to deduct 2 stamina points. That puts me down to 19. Okay. Anyway, so we're turning to 241 now. Now the goblins are well behind you, but the river is now rough with white water rapids, which are making headway difficult. Will you keep going, turn to 364, or pull over to the bank, turn to 317? Okay, we're going to pull over to the bank and turn to 317. Here we are. Now the current becomes very strong alongside the riverbank, whipping the water into a small whirlpool that threatens to wreck your flimsy craft. Roll 2 dice. If you roll higher than your skill score, turn to 364. If you roll less than or equal to your skill score, turn to 298. Okay, so our skill is still 12, so we need this to be 12 or lower, which it is. We get a 6, so that's less than or equal to 12. So we're turning to 298. Here we are. Your arms are strong and manage to pull your boat clear of the current. You beach the small craft against the north shore and remove all your equipment. You may stop here and eat some provisions while you take in your surroundings. You are on the edge of the jungle. You may either plunge straight into the jungle and head east, turn to 175, or you could head north along the fringes of the jungle before turning east further on. Turn to 27. Okay, we're not going to... excuse me. We're not going to eat food. We're just going to... we're going to head east into the jungle. So, yeah, so we're going to turn to 175. You plunge into the green leafy darkness of the jungle. Little light penetrates here, but eventually you grow accustomed to it. Your eyes start picking out hanging vines, birds high up in the lofty trees, monkeys swinging and chattering with one another. It is the cries of the creatures that are most surprising. From up ahead, a peculiar roaring echoes through the trees. Will you go on, turn to 330, or retrace your steps and head north, turn to 27? Okay, we're going to go on and turn to 330. After several hours of hacking your way through the jungle, you seem to be making very little progress, and your morale is falling rapidly. Eventually, though, you come to where the land dips. Ahead of you is more thick jungle, but running alongside it is a shallow depression several leagues long, which is marshy and damp. Will you continue through the jungle, turn to 397, or follow the depression, turn to 117? Okay, we're going to follow the depression. and turn to 117. Now, the ground is very spongy and damp. You sink into it up to your ankles, but luckily no further. After only a few dozen careful paces, the ground hardens again and you can go on as before. Turn to 194. Here we are. Noon passes into afternoon and you continue to hack your way through the tightly packed vegetation. As the sun starts to cool, you can stop and eat some provisions. If you have none, you may search for more. Turn to 374, unless you would rather continue walking. Turn to 169. That's only if I have none, I can search for more. And I don't really want to eat any anyway, so... So I'm just going to continue walking and turn to 169. Yeah, here we are. The sun is setting and suddenly the jungle is a very cold and unfriendly place. You must find somewhere to sleep before it becomes too dark to see. You could climb up into the branches of a low tree, turn to 218, or settle down in some soft bushes in the undergrowth, turn to 17. Okay, we're going to climb up into the branches of a low tree and turn to 218. You pull yourself up into the spread branches of a tree, brush off a few spiders and bugs, and settle down to sleep wrapped in your cloak and listening to the chirping of the nocturnal insects. Turn to 56. I have to say this, it really annoys me. I know it's acceptable, I know, but it does annoy me when people call any insect, or even something that isn't an insect, a bug. For example, beetles are not bugs. Beetles are beetles. A bug is like a shield bug or an aphid or something like that. Flies are flies. Bees are bees. Butterflies are butterflies. Bugs are bugs. And beetles are beetles. And spiders aren't insects at all. A bug is a type of insect. And it annoys me when people call any small creature a bug. And indeed, it's even more annoying when people call a germ a bug, like, oh, I have a bug, I'm ill. No, you have a germ. A bug is a type of insect. Anyway, enough of that. I'll read that again because I can't remember where I was. You pull yourself up into the spread branches of a tree, brush off a few spiders and bugs, and settle down to sleep, wrapped in your cloak and listening to the chirping of the nocturnal insects. Turn to 56. You wake up with a jolt and go rigid as all the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Something large is crawling along the branch towards you, dragging something behind it. You freeze, wishing you could sink back into the tree trunk against which you are pressed. The thing gets larger and you can hear the faint rasping of its breath. Will you attack it, 10 to 225, make a light, 10 to 143, or just stay still and hope that somehow it fails to notice you, 10 to 352? Okay, we're going to do the option that is staying still and hoping that somehow it fails to notice us. So turn to 352. Heart pounding and lungs bursting through trying not to breathe, you stay as still as you possibly can. The moon slips from behind a cloud and suddenly you can see two eyes, two large cat's eyes. As you get used to the gloom, you realise that the beast is an immense black panther, dragging a small deer up into the tree to eat. Will you attack it, turn to 273, or stay as still as you can in the hope that it will go away, turn to 252. Okay, again, we're going to stay still and turn to 252. The black panther flops down onto the branch like a city cat wanting to be stroked, only an arm's length from you, and proceeds to rip apart and eat the deer. You shiver in the darkness, hardly daring to breathe, as it crunches and hacks at the carcass with worrying dexterity. After 2 hours or so, the great beast stands and tidily pushes the bones of its meal off the branch. It stretches, arching its back, and strides off into the darkness. As it reaches the edge of the moonlight, though, it turns and sniffs the air and stares right at where you are hiding. It fixes your eyes with its own, blinks once, nods its head slightly, and then leaps away into the night. You have had a lucky escape. Should you ever encounter a creature with such eyes again, you may turn, if you wish, to paragraph 142 instead of to those to which you are directed. Make a note of that number on your adventure sheet and then turn to 44. Okay, so information, turn to 142 if we meet a Black Panther again. So information, if we meet another Black Panther, turn to 142 immediately. Is it immediately, or do we have the option? Yeah, if you wish. Okay, so if we wish. There we go. Okay, so we're turning to 44 now. After your visitor, you spend a restless night. You are determined to stay awake until dawn, but you find you keep dropping off to sleep. When you wake again, the sun is already climbing in the morning sky. You scramble down from the tree and head off towards the river to wash and refresh yourself. Turn to 356. You cut a track to the riverbank and wash the sleep and sweat from your face. You check your equipment and eat some more provisions. Okay, so I'm clearly down to 3 provisions now, definitely. Oh yeah, and then we put our stamina up, don't we? So our stamina goes back up to 22. I forgot about that. Okay, none of the plants around here seems to be edible, but you are guaranteed to find more on your journey. As you are glancing around at the bushes, though, you notice something potentially more interesting, a strange pile of overgrown rocks. Do you investigate, turn to 282, or set off again on your journey, turn to 97? Okay, we're going to set off again on our journey, and turn to 97. You continue on your way, hacking at the tangled undergrowth. As the sun rises, the night's animals creep back to their dens to sit out the scorching day in cool shadows. Different creatures screech and chatter in the branches above you. Soon you are bathed in sweat, wishing you could stop, but always pressing on. Turn to 204. It's no good. You simply must rest after your rough night. You collect more provisions and sit down in the shadows at the edge of a small sunlit clearing to eat. Turn to 307. Okay. Turn to 307. The afternoon sun is very warm, but it's quite pleasant in the shade. Just a brief pause, you promise yourself, unbuckling your sword and laying it beside you. You close your eyes. The trees rustle in the breeze, though you don't feel it on your face. You open one eye to see your sword still in its scabbard, apparently moving across the grass under its own steam. You spring to your feet. All around you, swinging in the branches, are hordes of small six-limbed monkeys. Krells. As you move, they start chattering excitedly, and the noise is deafening. The one dragging away your sword is just about to swing off into the trees. Will you leap and attack it with your knife, turn to 332? Shoot it with an arrow from your father's bow, if you have it, turn to 390? Or simply chase after the creature, making a threatening noise, turn to 20? Okay, we're simply going to chase after the creature and make a threatening noise, turn to 20. And there they are. Okay, so turn to 20 we go. Now, the crowl you are chasing drops your sword and scampers off, swinging up into the branches with dexterous ease. It swings there, chattering and screaming, mocking you in a playful fashion. You retrieve your sword, gather up your things, and move on. Turn to 221. Reminding yourself to be more vigilant in future, you march on, hacking your way through the jungle's tangled undergrowth. The going becomes easier as you find the rhythm again, but you will never be used to having to slash a path for yourself. Turn to 94. Throughout the day, Ariella, the sun goddess, blazes down on you. Every step you take is accompanied by a startling screech or growl. You continue to head east through the ferociously tangled undergrowth. Around noon, you have a run-in with a small panther, though the creature scampers away. You don't know who was more terrified, you or it. As the sun starts to sink behind you, you are pleased to hear the sound of the river alongside you, although you can't see it. As you walk on, the ground becomes damp and marshy, and soon you have trouble finding a dry path. You weave this way and that around large swampy pools and find your feet sinking into the saturated ground. You can try to make camp where you are, turn to 278, or go on a little way in the hope of finding more solid ground, turn to 378. Okay, we are going to make camp where we are and turn to 278. You hack down a large bundle of branches and wide leaves and lay them out like a mat on the damp ground. As you work, the sun sets and the cool jungle dusk is suddenly upon you. As darkness falls, the only sound you can hear is the lapping of the water just an arm's length away. And then, from the water, ... turn to 372. That would be a good place to end the video, wouldn't it? But I won't, because it's not half an hour yet. And then, from the water, bursts the most repulsive creature you have ever seen. It's a sickly white all over, like the soft underbelly of a crocodile, and indeed the swamp mutant shares many of the crocodile's characteristics. It rears up on strong hind legs and snaps at you with a mutated alligator head. All you can do is to bring your sword up to meet its first attack. Swamp Mutant, Skill 10, Stamina 16. If you defeat the monstrous creature, turn to 348. And there it is. Okay, 10, 16, Swamp Mutant. So Swamp Mutant. Skill 10, Stamina 16. Right, off we go. 10 plus 8 is 18. I get 19. So 18 to 19. Put some down to 14. There we go. Okay, 10 plus 6 is 16. I get 20. So 16 to 20. Okay, 10 plus 5 is 15. I get 15. So 15 all. And neither of us hurts the other. Okay, 10 plus 9 is 19. I get 18. So 19 to 18. That means it's hurt me. Oops. So down to 20 stamina. Okay, 10 plus 9 is 19. I get 23. So 19 to 23. Put some down to 10. Okay, 10 plus... Is that right? Yep. 10 plus 7 is 17. I get 19. So 17 to 19. Put some down to 8. Okay, 10 plus 6 is 16, I get 19, so 16 to 19. Whoops. 16 to 19. 10 plus 7 is 17, I get 16, so 17 to 16. Means he's hurt me again, that's down to 18, there we go. 10 plus 7 is 17, I get 15, so 17 to 15. Puts me down to 16. So 17 to 15, write that down. Okay, 10 plus 5 is 15, I get 16, so 15 to 16. Down to 4. Okay, 10 plus 10 is 20, I get 19, so 20 to 19. Means he's hurt me again. Puts me down to 14 stamina. Okay, 10 plus 6 is 16. I get 18, so 16 to 18. Puts him down to 2. 10 plus 2 is 12. I get 21. So 12 to 21. That puts him down to 0. So 12 to 21. That's the end of Mr. Swamp Mutant. That's that. That was a difficult one. Okay. So if you defeat the monstrous creature, turn to 348. We did, so we're turning there. The body of the repulsive creature sinks back into the swamp with a sucking sound, and you spend an uncomfortable night perched too close for comfort to the water's edge. The morning dawns bright and glorious, and you wake face down in the soft mud, having succumbed finally to your tiredness, regardless of any danger. For a few moments you wonder why you were afraid to sleep. Then the red stain on the surface of the water nearby I think should be one word, nearby reminds you. You wash and move on. At least there is no trouble eating in the jungle. You can collect up to your total of 4 provisions as you walk along. It should just be possible now to see the Lion Heights and Telex Mount from the top of a tree. You may care to climb up, turn to 393, or perhaps you would rather continue on your way, turn to 170. Okay, I will eat some provisions here. So I'll put my stamina back 18, but remember I'm only allowed to eat 1 at any one time, and my provisions go up to 4 again, although that went down to 2 because I just ate 1, but now they go up to 4 because I can collect a maximum of 4 again, so get it up to 4. Anyway, we're now going to continue on our way and turn to 170. Here we are. The day warms as you journey onward and the jungle comes alive. Birds call, monkeys scamper in the trees. Everywhere is strangely beautiful. A new call, one you have never heard before, sounds way up ahead and is answered by a roar. Some overzealous parrot eaten by a crafty jaguar, no doubt. But on the other hand, roll 2 dice. If you roll less than or equal to your skill score, turn to 64. If you roll higher than your skill score, turn to 320. Okay, roll 2 dice. Less than or equal to 12, which it is. So, we rolled less than or equal to our skill score, so we're turning to 64. You freeze instantly. That last cry was too artificial. Silently drawing your sword, you stand in the shadows and wait. With a whooping, I think it's whooping. With a whooping cry, a band of dark-skinned warriors clad in panther skins swings down at you from the trees, long knives slashing the air. You are ready for them. You are ready for them, though, and leap to the attack. There are 5 warriors, and they attack 2 at a time. Each time a warrior falls, another takes his place. Panther Warriors, each skill 5, stamina 6. If you take 2 consecutive hits or your stamina score is reduced to 4 or less, turn to 381. If you defeat the warriors, turn to 155. Okay. Okay, we have to fight 5. Excuse me. We have to fight 5 Panther warriors, and we have to fight them two at a time. So Panther warrior. So what I might as well do is each 5 and 6. So skill 5, stamina 6. So I might as well just copy this, and then just there we go. That should be 5 of them. Okay, so I have to fight 2 at a time. So 1 I attack, and 1 I just have to and 1 against 1 I have to defend. So so score is reduced to 4 or less. Okay, so if we take 2 consecutive hits, or your stamina score is reduced to 4 or less, 10 to 381. If you defeat the warriors, 10 to 155. Okay, so let's do this. So 5 and 6. So 5 plus 10 is 15. I get 21, so 15 to 21. So 15 to 21. Puts them down to 4, but I have to do one for the other one and just, not get hurt. Okay, so 5 plus 8 is 13. I get 19, so 13 to 19. That just means he hasn't hurt me. Okay, next. 5 plus 8 is 13. I get 15, so 13 to 15. Puts them down to 2, and then the other one is 5 plus 7 is 12. I get 17, so 12 to 17. That just means he hasn't hurt me. Okay, next, 5 plus 8 is 13. I get 17, so 13 to 17. That's the end of the first Panther Warrior, but we have to do the other one. 5 plus 9 is 14. I get 17, so 14 to 17. Okay, we're now fighting this one properly, but then we have the other one who's attacking us at the same time. So 5 plus 8 is 13. I get 19, so 13 to 19. Puts them down to 4. But then we're doing the other one. 5 plus 5 is 10. I get 20, so 10 to 20. Whoops, but 19 there. 10 to 20. Whoops, that's 29. Can't read the keyboard. Okay, stop doing that now. Right, there we are, 10 to 20. Okay, 5 plus 4 is 9. I get 15, so 9 to 15. Puts them down to 2. Okay, 5 plus 5 is 10. I get 21, so 10 to 21. Okay, next, 5 plus 9 is 14. I get 21, so 14 to 21. That's the end of the second one. And I have to do the other one. So 5 plus 7 is 12. I get 21, so 12 to 21. Okay, now we're fighting the third one and the fourth one. So 5 plus 12 is 17. I get 21, so 17 to 21. Doing this one first. Puts them down to 4. Okay, 5 plus 7 is 12. I get 21, so 12 to 21. Okay, 5 plus 6 is 11. I get 22, so 11 to 22. Puts them down to 2. 5 plus 9 is 14. I get 20, so 14 to 20. Okay, 5 plus 6 is 11. I get 20, so 11 to 20. That's the end of the third one. 5 plus 10 is 15. I get 16, so 15 to 16. Okay, now we're fighting the 4th and 5th ones rather. Okay, 5 plus 9 is 14. I get 16, so 14 to 16. Down to 4. Okay, 5 plus 11 is 16. I get 20, so 16 to 20. Okay, 5 plus 8 is 13. I get 22, so 13 to 22. Down to 2. 5 plus 7 is 12. I get 14, so 12 to 14. Haven't lost a round yet. Famous last words. 5 plus 8 is 13. I get 18, so 13 to 18. That's down to 0. That's the end of the 4th one. One more of these and I'm fighting the last one normally. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 to 20. There we go. So 9 to 20. Okay, now we're fighting the last one normally. So 13 to 14. So 13 to 14. Whoops. That's down to 4. 12 to 20. So that's 12 to 20. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. Okay, 5 plus 8 is 13. I get 20, so 13 to 20. Okay, that's the end of all the Panther Warriors, and I didn't lose any health whatsoever, so that's that good. Okay, yeah, I think those Panther eyes that we saw, whatever, we can turn to 142. I think that's what happens if our stamina is reduced to 4 or less or something. I think it's good though if we do that. Anyway, but we didn't, so we don't need to. If you defeat the warriors, turn to 155. 155. Okay, and that's where I am ending the video. So thanks very much for watching. In the next video, I'll be reading paragraph 155. Let's make a note of that, and it's unread. 155, unread. Yeah, good. Thanks very much for watching again, and hope you can join me for the next video. We're about halfway through the book, I'd estimate, so might be able to do it in the next video. Depends how many battles that I can't remember how many more battles there are, but yeah, might be able to do it in the next video, but definitely in the video after that if necessary. So thanks again and goodbye.